सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Yeah, clarifications. First one, the context is what is independence and interdependence. You said independence means each and every organ does what it is supposed to do. Eyes seeing, ears hearing. This is independence. Self-sufficiency is from the angle of respective function in terms of doing what one ought to do. Okay, correct. In order to do your respective function, you don't be dependent on other requiring motivational lecture. Correct. A self-motivated way of doing what you ought to do. Independence is not independent of other. Correct. Interdependence. For each and every organ to do what it ought to do, it needs the support from the other organs. This is called interdependence. Is the definition rightly understood? Yes. That's how it is defined. Save this definition. This is how it is defined. Question number 2. In order to do your respective function, you don't be dependent on other requiring motivational lecture. Does the term dependent here refer to and focus on motivational lecture only, or does it include physical support from other parts of the body included in interdependence? Okay. What is meant here is most of the time, at least 70-80% of the time, we all know what to do, what not to do. Correct? It will never come to a point where we really don't know what to do, what not. It never happens like that. 75, 70, 80% of the time, we know what to do, what not to do. Is it agreed? Supposing if the person comes and says, sir, I really don't know what to do, waking up from the morning till I go to sleep in the night, I don't know what to do. Will anybody say that? It's not true. 70-80% of the time, we know what to do, what not to do. Self-sufficiency means what? In that 70-80% of the things that you know what to do, what not to do, you are able to do it. That 20% we always have a doubt, we take clarity, we take guidance. You follow the difference. So that 70-80% of the time that which you know that you should be doing and you know that you should not be doing, you should not require an external support. You should not require an external person to keep telling you, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? Isn't it? In a gross example, which we all may laugh, but it requires a lot of training, is when the child is 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, what is the thing that you will ask the child? Huh? What is the thing that you'll ask the child? 5-year-old child, did you brush? When you wake up, you should brush because it doesn't know. Are you able to follow? Now we know. Supposing if somebody has to come and tell me, did you? At 65, if somebody has to tell you, did you brush? It's a weird situation that we are talking about. These things don't happen. Are you able to follow what I'm saying? So that 75% of the areas of life, what we know that we should be doing and what we know that we should not be doing, I should be able to do it by myself without requiring any support from the other for that. Are you able to follow? What I meant by motivation lecture is a figurative way of saying that external dependence to do, I know what to do, but my mind is not cooperating and I am seeking the support of another. It's not ignorance here. Are you able to understand the difference? It's not ignorance. It is simply the mind not cooperating. Self-sufficiency means your mind will cooperate in that area. That is called self-sufficiency. We all have 20-25% of the areas where we don't know. We have those doubts. That's not a problem. Does it mean physical support also? Physical support is interdependent whether we like it or not. Physical support is an interdependent factor. Because physically I cannot do everything by myself. You follow? Physical support is interdependent factor. Where independence comes is that 70-75% of the thing that I know and I should not know, my mind will not tell me I don't feel like doing. It is like as gross as this. My mind tells me I don't feel like showering today. Do you need a motivation lecture to do that? You follow what I'm saying? The simple thing, like I told my friends that I'm going on a 2-week Himalayan trek. I told my friends, I'm going. First question they asked, hey, Anga, 3-4 days you can't manage. They say, 3-4 days you can't manage. So why, what do you mean you can't manage there for 3-4 days? Okay. Wherever I am, I have the habit of showering twice. Once is not enough. You need twice. How can you have once only? You need twice. I'm used to that. Anga is saying, 4 days water கிடைக்காது. You will not, how will you survive? Actually, I thought maybe I should cancel the trip only. Maybe I thought I should cancel. How can you not shower on 2 days there for 4 days that too? We know what to do, what not. You follow? Physical support is not only physical support. We all need material support, physical support, but we should not be requiring. We all need physical support. We all need material support. We all need emotional support. We should not be requiring motivational support. Understand the difference? Emotional support, oh no, I need material support. I need physical support. All that support is needed, which is interdependency of life itself. But only one thing that I should not be needing is what? What I know that I should do and I should not do. Somebody should not come and ask me that. That is what is called as, in Vedanta, that's what we call as self-sufficiency. Are you a self-sufficient person? Means can you do it by yourself? Level number one, you have to do because people around you are threatening you. Yeah, fear. Out of fear, you do. Level number one, you do things out of fear. And anything that you do out of fear, you don't feel like doing it. So every opportunity to find an excuse, you will not do. Yeah. If you don't eat healthy food, you will fall sick, disease. Therefore, each and every meal I need to see. I said, see the food. No, see idli, dosa and eat. Proteins, carbohydrates எல்லாம் பார்த்து சாப்பிடக்கூடாது. இல்ல சாப்பிடும்போது எப்படி பார்க்கணும்? Yeah. What should you see on the plate? விஜயரங்கன். தோசால எவ்வளவு புரோட்டீன், எவ்வளவு கார்ப்ஸ், எவ்வளவு ஆயில், healthy, non-healthy. More than 2 mouthful you can't eat. You feel like simply what is there, eat. What is the thing? Fear. Fear should not make you, fear can never make you self-sufficient. What will make you self-sufficient? Knowledge and understanding makes you self-sufficient. In that sense, it is called a self-sufficiency dependent. Other than that, whether we like it or not, we are all social entities. We need support at. Supposing if I say, I need material support, I need physical support, but I don't need emotional, intellectual support. That's absurd again. Why? Because I need the intellectual support from the doctor. I need the intellectual support of the lawyer. How can I say I don't need intellectual support? Hmm? How can I say I don't need emotional support? I need emotional support. How? When the food is kept on the table, the way it is kept makes a difference, no? Amit, when the food is kept on the table, the way in which it is kept makes a difference or not? It makes a difference, no? For your hunger, food alone is enough. What difference does it make how they keep the food? Danda soran vaglam, isn't it? You are such a useless person. You can give. I don't know why you are even eating and being alive. You should have been dead and gone. The food can be given. Now, it's not just the food. We need material support, physical support, emotional support, intellectual support, all that we need, which is interdependence of life itself. Then what is self-sufficiency means? Self-sufficiency is only one thing. What to do, what not to do, I can do it by myself. That which I know that I should do, that which I know I should not be doing, others should not come and teach me that. You follow the difference? Third clarification. Is there a third one? It looks like I saw the third one. Yeah. Yes. I see in self-sufficient in function. It doesn't need motivation to do the function of seeing. I is self-motivated to see. Till here it is independence, correct. But independence is not independent of the other because for the eyes to do what it ought to do, it needs the support of other organs. This is interdependence. It means what appears to be independent still predominantly depends on interdependence only, correct. Independence in function is not absolute, correct. It operates within the framework of interdependence. What seems independent still depends on many factors. This is interdependence. Is this understanding correct? Yes, it is correct. Freedom is not free, no. Are we all absolutely free or all our freedom is restricted? Is our freedom restricted or are we absolutely free? Our freedom is restricted. Only when you go to the fourth state, Self-realization, it is different. But till that, now that looks more like a speculation. That state itself looks more like a speculation than anything real. Therefore, let us not talk about it. Down the line, and always ask yourself this question. Does freedom comes with restrictions, or does freedom comes absolutely free? In the worldly plane, on a practical plane, on a vyavaharika level, freedom comes with restrictions. I don't like it. Life will look at you and says, who cares? Because you need to train yourself to the reality. You need to train yourself to align with the reality. Opposite of that is you can't bend the reality. You cannot change the reality. Are you able to follow? So independence in the spiritual sense is true. Independence on an interactional, on an interactive plane is not true. The context in which we discussed is concentration, consistency, cooperation on an interactive plane. Therefore, we highlight this aspect of it. Supposing if you are highlighting moksha, self-realization, there it's a different thing altogether. Are you able to follow? Where if we talk about moksha, liberation, it's a totally different thing altogether. But then even there, liberation from what? Moksha from what? Moksha from ignorance. That's all. Moksha means liberation. Liberation from what? What is freedom? Freedom from what? Freedom from the other. Freedom from the mind. It's not freedom from the other. It's not freedom from the mind. It is freedom from ignorance. Now, that is a totally different context. Similar words will be used there also. So what is used there, you can't take it up, and you are not doing that. I'm saying you should not, in thinking, we should have this clarity. This dependency, interdependency is spoken in the context of cooperative endeavor. Parasparam bhavayantaha. In the context of parasparam bhavayantaha, it is spoken. When you talk about liberation, there is no parasparam bhavayantaha, because there it is transcendence. You follow? So in this context, this is how you have to understand. Next one. If all of the above understanding is correct, then is the following summary of the terms rightly understood. Independence. Doing what you ought to do without needing external motivation, emotional push. Independence. Right. Interdependence. Your ability to perform is not absolute and still depends on support from others. Correct. Organ, system, environment, people, everything. Yeah, interdependence. I leave home, hoping to come here on time, interdependent on the traffic, the police, etc. Isn't it? It is there. Whether we like it or not, that's how it is. And the third one, show me the third one. Dependency in context. Emotional, motivational need, not functional or structural dependency. Correct. It's an emotional motivational need. What is that emotional motivational need to do what you ought to do? That's what we studied as incentives. Remember that? What we studied as incentive is nothing but an emotional motivational need to do what? For what you ought to do, you need to be paid for that. You need to be bribed for that. That's called incentive. Are you able to follow now the connection? You should be able to do what you ought to do because it's your conviction, it's your knowledge, it's your understanding. Is there anything else? Huh?
No, no, sir.
Okay. The chapter that we have to start is intellect versus intelligence. Intellect is called buddhi. Intellect is called buddhi. Intelligence also is called buddhi in Sanskrit. Intellect also is called buddhi. Intelligence is also called buddhi. The etymology of the word buddhi based on the Panini's grammar and etc. Buddh, the root word, the dhatu, what they call is the dhatu, the verb root is buddh. Buddh plus a suffix. And then a suffix comes to that. Buddh plus a suffix equals buddhi. What is buddhi? Buddh means to awaken, to perceive, to be aware, to understand, to know. That is the Buddh. Buddhi means the capacity, it becomes an action. Buddhi is the capacity to capacity means the act of knowing. The act of knowing is the buddhi. Distinct and different from the act of knowing, becoming aware is memorizing, and it will not be helpful to the one who possesses it. That is called intelligence. How do you fundamentally distinguish between intellect and intelligence? You are very wise, but that wisdom will not be available to you in order to deal with your weaknesses. You may be very sharp in knowing, in remembering, in putting it into practice, putting it into practice in the sense of not changing, not spiritually growing. All this you will do, but you will have no control over your weaknesses. Carefully follow. You can talk about the weaknesses, you can understand what weakness can do to you, and still you will be weak. What would you call that person? What would you call that person? That is called intelligence. That's how the that's how the various that's how the various meanings comes in Vedanta. Buddhi is used in a very specific meaning. In Vedanta, Buddhi is used in a very specific meaning. What is the specific meaning? Buddhiyukto jahatiha ube sugrta dushkrute. எங்கேயாவது கேட்ட மாதிரி இருக்குதா அது? Looks like, have you heard it anywhere? Buddhiyukto jahatiha ube sugrta dushkrute. Verse number 50, chapter 2, where he says, what is the role of buddhi? What is intellect? Endowed with buddhi, one can understand what is dharma and what is adharma. Endowed with buddhi, one can transcend dharma and adharma, two functions. Then it is intellect. Level number 1 is to know what is these two. Level number 2 is transcending that. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. Again, in the same chapter, the word buddhi is used. So where all the word buddhi is used, you will see it is being used in a very unique specific meaning. What is that unique specific meaning in which buddhi is used here? Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. That's why karma yoga, he calls it as buddhi yoga there, no? Even karma yoga, he calls it as, even karma yoga, he calls it as buddhi yoga. It is single pointed. Single pointed in what? Single pointed in what? Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha. Ekeha means it is single pointed. Single pointed in what? Single pointed towards what? It doesn't waver. It doesn't have any doubt. Wavering because it has a doubt. Suppose if the single pointedness implies no doubt. Yeah, are you able to follow? If it is single pointed means there is no doubt. It is wavering because of doubt. Doubt about what? Karyam, akaryam, dharma, adharma. It's wavers. It's because of it, because it lacks clarity on dharma, adharma, karyam, akaryam. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha runandana. It is buddhi that can tell you, it is buddhi that can tell you what to do, what not to do, based on dharma and adharma. Another distinct meaning of buddhi is beautifully, one of the Sankhya books talks about this. Sankhya Karika talks about buddhi as desire, aversion. Aversion to kama is buddhi. A beautiful definition. Aversion to kama is buddhi. Now, if you are using that skill to fulfill your desire, what is it called? If you are using this faculty to fulfill your desire, what is it called? Intelligence. Intellect is not intelligence. As we go along, I will try to elaborate a lot. But it's very important to know some of the in what way Actually, we talk about, these scriptures talk about buddhi. In order to know these distinctions and differences, the cognitive ability, the ability to understand things must be very sharp, precise, that requires training. In order to do all this doesn't come naturally. In order to do all this, what to do? Dharma, adharma, what to do, what not to do. It has to be done, it has to be done whether you like it or not, isn't it? So desire aversion. Desire aversion means what? Desire aversion comes when? We have aversion to poison, correct? Do you have aversion to poison? Yes or no? Yes. Why? Because you have understood it as dangerous. Yeah. You will court it. You will want it only when you think it is beneficial to you. So buddhi will never unite with desire. Buddhi will not unite with karma. Why buddhi will not unite with karma? Because it has understood the complications of karma. And what is the complication? What is the complication? There's only one complication. What is the complication? Punarjanma. Again and again and again, you have to keep going through this cycle. Only entertainment is people change. That's all. Different father, different mother, different brother, different sister, different husband, different friend. Avladhan difference. But go through the same thing. That is aversion. That is the aversion. So this understanding is called buddhi. There is a very unique Sanskrit word also for the Upanishad puts it above Vijnanamaya Kosha. It puts intellect above, it put buddhi above everything. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha. The Upanishad gives this hierarchy. Dharma or pleasure? Dilemma. Dharma or pleasure? Dilemma. You know, intellect is working or not. You follow? I choose, most of the time people choose pleasure over dharma. Is it pleasure or is it dharma? Pleasure. In pleasure, there is immediate, some immediate sensation, I don't know, some immediate, I don't know what happens. Tingling happens, I don't know, I don't know what happens. Something immediately happens in pleasure, and then the mind continues to want it, go round and round and round. Yeah, buddhi understands. You know, that, trying to remember the name of the person. Ram Subramanian is not here. Ilana, as he is listening to me only, he'll open another window and start searching. Yeah. There is one guy who did that, that it's a very famous experiment, the dung beetle experiment in a plate. Has anybody heard about that example? No? Dung beetles, okay, at least you understand dung beetle. There is one of the millions of species in this planet. One species is the dung beetle. It's called the dung beetle because it's called the dung beetle. Why? Because it's born there, it lives there. That's why it's called dung beetle. And it has one thing. What is that one thing? It will have one leader. It will have one leader. And then whatever that fellow goes, wherever that fellow goes, the whole lot will go. What this man did, he wanted to try how it operates. So what he did, he took the leader beetle on a circular plate and put it. And one by one, he added. The second one, third one came. So the first one started moving. So 15 beetles over a period of now what's happening? All the 15 is moving. Are you able to visualize that? All the 15 is moving. For a lay person, you won't even know who's the leader in that, because everybody's following the same thing. In a matter of few hours, they just went round and round and round. Endlessly, they went in round and round and round, got fatigued and tired and died. They can't do anything. They just have to. Buddhi understands that. Who can, which faculty can understand this? The Buddhi can understand this and wanting to avoid that. This is called the intellect. Buddhi is used as viveka. Buddhi is always used with viveka. Viveka means the ability to distinguish. Viveka. Intelligence is used in the sense of medha. Medha. Yeah. Medha is actually the capacity to memorize, retain, and reproduce. That's the intelligence. That's why Medha Suktam. The children will be made to chant Medha Suktam. Medha Suktam, this is a very small thing. If you keep chanting it every day, you will be able to memorize a lot. You will be able to memorize a lot. You will be able to retain a lot, and you will be able to reproduce a lot. And everybody will be thinking that you are. Everybody will think, oh, what a great soul. Where do we get people like that on this planet? Medhavi. This fellow is a Medhavi. Medhavi. Yeah. It's not something that is very memory, processing, grasping patterns, and able to and able to reproduce. All this is intelligence, Medha. What is the difference between Buddhi and Medha now? Medha. Who is the master of Medha? Who is the master of Medha? Kama. Kama is the guiding factor for Medha. What is the guiding factor for Buddhi? Who is the master of Buddhi? The Shastras. So for Medha, It is karma is the desire. Karma is the master. Hmm? We have seen that in the poem Pond. Remember the poem Pond? We have seen that very clearly there in the poem Pond, how it works. You know, I like, that's all. That's all. It boils down to what? I like. What's your problem? Yeah, I like, full stop. Here, the Meda can very easily, carefully follow. The Meda can very easily overpower intellect. Unless that intellect is stabilized through the, spiritual disciplines. Are you able to follow? You can have Meda Shakti without spiritual discipline. In a university, what is being attempted? That is why, yeah. How can educated people make mistakes, sir? Said people with uh, spiritual education may not make mistake, assuming that they are actually spiritually educated. You send a person to school and college and expect that person to behave like a spiritual person. How does it work? It doesn't work. Why? That's why we need to distinguish between intelligence and intellect. So there is a system of education that is aimed at developing that intellect. There is another system of education that aims at developing the intelligence. What is the system that what is the system that develops intelligence? See, we are in a unique era. You know that, no? Nowadays, we are in a unique era we are in because the number of universities are more, the number of graduates are more, the access to knowledge. It means the society, how that human society should be now. Ideally speaking, if it is in the right direction, how with all this, I was trying to count the number of universities in the world. Google couldn't help. ChatGPT said, I don't know, approximately. So every day, new universities is coming, new courses, are, new things. Oh my God! With all this education, how should be life? What should be life? Are you able to understand what I'm asking? And we are also product of the same system only, isn't it? We are also products of the same system only. What is it aimed at? It is aimed at what? It is aimed at making you, a Medhavi. Sorry. The education system is required to make you a Medhavi. In order to make you a Medhavi, what all is required? First thing that is required is what? Either you are number one, or you should be perfect, or useless. If I do, I will do it perfectly, sir. Otherwise, I will not do. Wow. Great, no? Dumb. Feel like using foul words. You follow what I'm saying? that very system is about what? Desire must be fulfilled. Why? Because when the desire is fulfilled, there is pleasure. And pleasure is happiness. You train somebody in a different way from the beginning. For 20, 25 years, you train somebody like that. And then suddenly at 35 and 40, you expect that person to have an intellect. System itself is wrong. You follow? System itself is wrong. What is that system? The system that praises number one is bound to be corrupt, is bound to be violent. Take it or leave it. Again, the system that praises, the system that promotes being number one, the system that promotes you should be number one. What will be that society? You promote that continuously in all aspects of life. What will happen in that society? That society will bound to be violent. That society is bound to be corrupt. It's a law. It's your duty, and your duty is no way inferior to the duty of another. Is one kind of teaching. That is buddhi. But then we don't teach like that. We always teach what? This is inferior, this is superior, therefore do that which is superior, for this is. Yeah. Yeah. Are you able to follow? One kind of education system promotes, it's your, we don't train you for a profession. We train you to do your duty. What is the difference between profession and duty? What is the difference? There is a difference, no? At least there is a difference, no? What is the difference between profession and duty? In duty, sincere doing is focused. In profession, rewards growth. You follow? Rewards and growth. Is it your duty or is it your profession? Now, the system creates people. Yeah. Even in tennis, they divide the tennis era itself into two, no? Professional and amateur. At one point of time, tennis was purely amateur and then it became professional. Yeah. Everybody is attracted to tennis because of what? When did people start getting attracted to tennis, even though they have absolutely no interest or nothing in that? Why? A profession that pays well. Yeah. Cricket, the profession that pays very well. Not saying it's wrong to do that. I'm saying a society that is trained in that, what will happen in that society? We need to accept the fact that if we are training that way, we should be bold enough to accept the consequence. What is the consequence? That society will be violent, that society will be corrupt. But then we will not want violence, we will not want corruption, but train everybody to be violent and corrupt. We train everybody to be violent and corrupt and then expect people not to be so. How do we do that? The education system that trains intelligence. What is the education system that trains buddhi? It's your dharma. Yeah. It's your varna and it's your dharma and it's your, the moment you are taught and you have understood it as a duty, there is a sanctity to what you are doing. There is a joy and contentment about what you are doing. The moment you see, the moment it is taught as something inferior, obviously there will not be any sanctity. When there is no sanctity, it gets replaced by what? It gets replaced by what all is happening now. Intellect also gets strengthened through education. Intelligence also grows through education. Both grows through education. That's why the thinkers of the world are all concerned about education. And today, supposing there's a very smart person in your family and that person says, I want to be a teacher, what will you say? What will you say? Don't waste your time. Correct? Why? Because teaching is not profitable, remunerative எல்லாம் இருக்காது, அவ்வளவுதான். Therefore, who is teaching? Therefore, who's teaching? Who is shaping you up? Who is shaping you up? Who is shaping the next generation? Who have you left your next generation to be shaped up by? I don't know what to do, sir. Can I go and start teaching? What, you don't know what to do, you'll start teaching? You don't know what to do, you should start washing vessels. Yeah. Sweep the house and wash the vessels. What teaching, sir? See, will you say, I really don't know what to do, I want to become a software engineer? You are software engineer, in engineering. Huh? A software engineer. Smart people will do that, sir. They're going to follow. Why? Because when intelligence is given predominance, the next generation is left at the hands of, the next generation grows at the hands of, I don't know, whoever they are. What will they train with? What will they come up trained? Supposing if it is said it's your duty, it's your dharma, there is a sanctity to it. That is intellect. Sir, all this you can talk only when you have money, sir. If you don't have money, you will not talk all these things. At this point, what you have to do? What you have to do? You have to say Narayana and go to the next lesson. That's all. What else you can talk? Because it's very clear. It's there. The idea is very clear. Intelligence is aimed at fulfilling the desires. You cannot fulfill the desire without some amount of, you cannot fulfill the desire without some amount of Huh? Intelligence. You cannot fulfill the desire without some amount of fill in the blanks in it. What is it? Some adharma in it. Fulfilling the desires will have an element of adharma. Take it out. You, who cares? You say, no, I don't believe in this. Can say you don't, that's okay. But the law doesn't change. What is the law? Because in order to fulfill your desire, you can't say after you, and then I will fulfill my desire last. Desire will bring a hurry. No. Desire will bring a hurry. Desire will bring a speed. Isn't it? Correct? You have a strong desire, and then also you can say after you. Does it work? In the areas where you are saying after you don't have a you don't have a desire. That's all. It's not that you have become philosophical there. You just don't have a desire there. Therefore, you can say after you. In the areas where you have a desire, you cannot say after you. Why? Because the pressure of the desires itself will drive you into that. And intelligence is geared towards what? Intelligence is not geared towards understanding the futility of desiring. Intelligence is geared towards fulfilling the desire at any cost. Fulfilling the desire at any cost, instant, speed, immediacy, the urgency. The urgency. In one part of the world, you want the entire food of the entire planet to know. Food court in Chennai. What do you want in that food court? Italian you want? I don't know what all you want in that one. In order to do all that, what you need to do? You need to crisscross. Oh God, what all we need to do for all that, isn't it? Human beings need 100 grams of proteins per day. I don't know. I'm just giving, I'm not a dietitian. I really don't know whether you need 100 grams or 150 grams. I need 100 grams of proteins. 8 billion human beings. 8 billion human beings will need how many tons of protein every day? How many tons will be required? 0.8 billion. 0.8 billion tons of protein every day. Where will you go? Where will you go for that? Now, what will you do to get it? What instrument you will use to get it? The Meda Shakti, the intelligence. That's why we value intelligence a lot. We always value intelligence a lot because of every facet is like that. I'm just using this as an example. Sir, deep is near the how do we grow in life then? We should grow in life. No, for which we can't define growth. Buddhi comes and says, correct. We need to grow. But what is growth? How would you define growth? Sir, suicidal because of starvation is poverty, sir. Suicidal because of abundance is growth. You understand what I'm saying? Suicidal because of poverty is suicide. The fellow feels like committing suicide because there's nothing. Another person wants to commit suicide because. So what is growth? Nobody is interested about how to avoid being suicidal. All that they say doesn't matter, but be suicidal having, be a sad, depressed, frustrated, adharmic, wealthy person, sir. Sad, depressed, frustrated, agitated, wealthy person. That is okay. How to get that? Intelligence helps. Remember, intelligence is one of the minor functions of the intellect. Intelligence is not a separate function. Intelligence is a function of the intellect. But then intelligence alone is not the function of, there are other functions to it which is completely ignored, which is what we are talking about as intelligence is not intellect. You follow the difference till now? Okay. I'm only explaining the title. Intelligence is not intellect. Then we will go into the, we'll go into the thing later. Very important is to understand this distinction. Knowing this distinction, you know how to make use of the right. Intellect has two functions. One is Meda Shakti is one function of the intellect. Another function of the intellect is the ability to control the senses and the mind. So intellect has two functions. Again, one function of the intellect is Meda Shakti. Meda Shakti means the ability to study, to understand, to grasp the patterns, you know it, and then you can also come up with something new, etc. All that is one function of it. Distinct and different from that is another function. What is other function? The capacity to guide the senses and the mind. Towards what? Obviously towards not being a victim of the desires. Not being a victim of the desire. Otherwise, the desires can hijack the desires can hijack the buddhi. And most of the times, desires hijack the buddhi. There we say it is not buddhi, it is just intelligence. Our பெரிய மேதாவி, ஆனா he has his own weaknesses. Yeah, he's a மேதாவி, but நிறைய weakness இருக்குது அவருக்கு. In one of the places in Mahabharata, he says, the faculty of buddhi is common to everybody. Wise knows how to make use of it. The wise knows how to make use of it. You are wise because you know how to make use of it for liberation. It can be used for punarjanma again and again and again. You can use it where you will go through the cycle again and again and again, or you can use it to get out of the cycle. Intellect means the ability to make use of it rightly to get out of the cycle. So it's a very important discipline. Buddhi functions through inquiry. That's why it says, don't take things for granted, question. Don't take things for granted, question. When you hear don't take things for granted, question, what do you think you should go and question? What do you question? Jayarangan. Shankaracharya மாதிரி ஆன்சர் கொடுக்காதீங்க. இல்ல, the difficulty is I ask a question mostly rhetoric nowadays, because the answers that comes will be like, yeah, The Upanishadic seers will be ashamed. Oh my God, we don't know how to explain the way that these people are talking. Yeah. That's why most of the questions are rhetoric by nature nowadays. It comes through the buddhi is that which needs to be trained, developed, just as Meda Shakti also needs to be trained, developed. Okay. Do you ever need training to know how to get angry? I don't know how to get angry at all, sir. I need training. You ever say that? Will anybody come and say, I don't know how to, no, I don't know how to feel jealous and all this. I need training. All the detrimental things requires no training. Actually speaking, buddhi should be so natural and you should go and ask questions how to train to get angry. No. The newborn knows how to get, angry. Isn't it? I get angry, sir. So yeah, of course you will get angry. No, no buddhi, you will get angry. What is the big deal in it? I got tempted. Of course you will get tempted because no buddhi, you will get tempted. I got tempted. Of course, no buddhi. I get angry. Of course, you will do all. So if you see one part of you that is detrimental to you doesn't require training at all. That part of you that is beneficial requires training. Which training will appeal to the mind and to the society? The training of intelligence will always be appealing. The training of intellect will not be appealing. The training of intelligence is always appealing. Why? Because something will come out of it. Yeah. That's why I said intellect has twin functions. What are the twin functions of intellect? One is the ability to gain knowledge. Knowledge means everything put together. In order to gain, there also you need to ask a question. What is the question? Intelligence ask how to fulfill the desire. Intellect ask why am I desiring? Intelligence will ask how to fulfill the desire. Because desire is taken for granted, fulfillment of desire is taken for granted. The question is how? How the intelligence? Intellect says why? Intellect says why? Why am I desiring? I have fulfilled the desires in the past. What has happened? What has happened because of that? Nothing has happened. Now, what is making me to think that fulfilling one more desire is going to make me different? I am still going to be the same. Are you able to understand the questioning? He says, don't take things for granted, question everything. What is taken for granted? Fulfilling desires is taken for granted, and that is seen as growth. That is why the definition of growth is taken for granted. Isn't it? The definition for growth is taken for granted. In every facet of life, the definitions are taken for granted. What is education? The definition is taken for granted. What is marriage? The definition is taken for granted. One existing person, if I can't accommodate, how am I thinking that I'm going to accommodate a new person? No, sir, by the time I get to know it will be 10 years. No, that's the fun. That's all it is. By the time I'll die and start all over again. If I have not done it there, how am I thinking it's going to happen? You don't understand these things, sir. That person is so wrong, bad. That's why. Now, if I get the right one, everything will be fine. Huh? Intelligence will find ways and means to fulfill the desires. Any discussion about why desire, it will fall off to sleep. அப்படியே தூங்கிடும். It will fall off to sleep. Any question about why fulfill desire? How to fulfill desire? The eyes will be, suddenly it become wide open. The technique தெரியல sir, we need consultants. Yeah. I know I want it, but I don't know how to get it. So who should come and help me how to get it? அதுக்கு தான் ஒரு consultant. I was telling the car driver, see, the consultant knows how to get it. Why will he get it for you? He would have gotten it for himself. No, he's getting it for you only because he doesn't know how to get it for himself. Yeah. Supposing I know how to consult you and make you a millionaire, commissioner, you are not going to become. Supposing if I know that technique, why will it teach you? I will do that first too. No. But desire makes you blind. What? Oh no, I have a desire, and that person will be honest, with honesty, integrity, blah, blah, blah. That person will help you to fulfill my desire, and then I will say bye-bye, thank you. And that person should say thank you and leave. And if the other person do that, what will you say? Oh, people in the world are bad, sir. Vedanta is correct. People in the world are all cheating. People in the world are all this. People in the world are all that. Intellect comes and says, what? It is not at all like that. You follow? So you need to understand. One more session, I will distinguish between the intellect and intelligence. அப்புறம் ஒரு tabular column போட்டுங்கோ. Tabular column போட்டுட்டு கரெக்டான கிளாஸ்ல கேட்க வேண்டாம். You keep it for yourself. Anshu, did you understand what I said? What did I say? What did you understand? I said in Tamil, you understood Tamil also. Very good now. What did you understand?
We must make a tabular column, sir.
And then?
Then I don't know.
Correct. Yeah, that I know she didn't get it. If anybody puts a tabular column and say, is this correct? What should you say? Correct. Don't even look into the tabular column. Make the distinction between intelligence and intellect. Both comes through education, both comes through training. Intelligence also grows through education. Intellect also happens through education. Both requires education only. That's why the method is education is the common method for both. But then the goal makes the difference. It is the goal that makes the. Rajshekhar, you have something? Yes. Unmute him. Rajshekhar, you have to unmute yourself now. Yes. Cholungo. No, you muted yourself again.
Regarding revamping of education.
Regarding?
Revamping of education.
Okay. Revamping of education. Okay.
So a lot of educational specialists, to the best of my knowledge, even for the last 50 years, have been talking.
Yes.
that it should not be a money-making machines should not be produced by institutions.
Correct.
So even when the well-known specialists are not able to do anything,
Yes.
so it is not going to how it will happen.
First thing, it's not a job of the educational specialist. Educational specialist is best in teaching intelligence. And for them, this is more like a decorative piece. Again, I repeat, education specialist, that is not their job. Their job is to, it is not their job. Their job is to promote. Supposing you open a school and go to the educational specialist and say, in my school, intellect is going to be developed. Send your children because you are promoting that. No, what will they tell you? What will they tell you? I know what they will tell you. You may not know. What will they tell you? These are all statements that has to be made to be politically correct, but don't take all this seriously. We are a society of double standards. We are the human beings of double standards. Number one. Number two, revamping starts where? Revamping starts with your conviction in the shift from intelligence to intellect. In this entire classroom, in this entire Vedantic thing that we are discussing, I'm not talking about Vedanta Institute or only us. There are a whole lot doing. In spite of all this, even if one person is convinced the shift from intelligence is intellect is necessary, first for one's own growth, revamp has happened. Revamp has happened, even if one person is convinced that it has to happen for where it should start. So many people tell me, I tell you in the last 35 years, sir, all this should be taught in school, sir. I just play dumb and say, I don't know how to teach. You open a school, who's there? The society is aimed at what? Correct? Remember this, Rajshekhar. You are caught in the traffic jam, or are you part of the traffic? Are you part of the traffic or you got caught in the traffic jam? What is the answer? I am part of the traffic. That's all it is. I am not caught in the jam. I am part of it. This is revamping. You follow what I'm saying? This is how it starts. We're going to talk about that also. Because it's going to happen through education, we are going to talk about that also. Before we go into the text, I'll be spending some time on this topic itself. Because it's about education, because we said it is going to happen only through education, we need to talk about the education system also for our understanding, not to criticize and go and change some school there. Are you okay? Crash taker. Always this one question. Are you caught in the traffic jam or are you part of the traffic? If you say, I am caught in the traffic jam, you are seeing it differently. If you say, I am part of the traffic, it means what? Somebody is causing you jam, you are jamming somebody. Parasparam here, isn't it? Parasparam, we jam each other. Very good unity here. You follow? We'll continue. We will. I have a few more of my opinions on this, and then we'll go into the text.